Masquerade saying Zimbabwe, welcome to our channel Zim Confessions and Deep Secrets. Kana kitanka kukwapa nino channel, please don't forget to subscribe. Kana uchigwagara subscribe, but don't forget to comment and share this video. Nasi Zimbabwe takigira inye buritswa na a prominent Zimbabwean lawyer. We are based in the United Kingdom. Brighton Mutebuka Mabuda vachiaccusa the investigative journalist Vaupo Chingono na Charlton Hwende, since they are trying to make sure Nelson Chamisa will never appear on the ballot paper in the future. Abuda Brighton Mutebuka on his ex-hand Hachiti Summit and beyond, the smear campaign to delegitimize Nelson Chamisa. Sudan has previously stated, I have tried to get to the bottom of the rumors that were swirling on X yesterday, suggesting that Chamisa's perceived inaction in the aftermath of the stolen August 2023 elections was due to being bought by the regime. The innuendos relating to this were mainly circulated by Victor, the ex-character known as Alinaka, and discredited journalist Waupo Chingono, amongst others, on X accounts. The insinuation was that they had explosive evidence at the ready which confirmed that Chamisa had corruptly accepted bribes from the regime and thus been compromised so as to literally upend the democratic struggle for the benefit of the regime. The good Professor Ibo Mandaza was also unfortunately a victim of the sophisticated Russian-style disinformation campaign timed to perfection in the immediate aftermath of ED's coronation at the SADC summit in Harare, which was a painful blow to the opposition movement. The well-coordinated campaign was very effective in making the saga trend. In the end, I resolved to get to the bottom of it by seeking and establish the source of the campaign and the motive behind it. What emerged from my research, source of the rumor, at least a well-placed sources identified Hwende as the source of the allegations. The sources further stated that Hwende did not only level accusations of financial impropriety against Chamisa. I will not address the other allegation that was made of a personal nature and extremely hateful. The sources state that the allegations were shared with Alinaka and discredited journalist Waupo Chingono, amongst others. It was confirmed to me that there was no iota of evidence to support the long-shot allegation that a local law firm had secretly stored the stash. The sources stated their current behind-the-scenes maneuvers at forging immunity and returning to the banner of the old MDC, which has sucked in Monzora, Tubeko Sibanda, Hwende, and others, with all of them being united by the idea that Chamisa is the main obstacle, which would then open grounds for ED's regime. The sources further stated that Hwende and others are conspiring to ensure that Nelson Chamisa never appears on the Zimbabwean ballot papers again, including helping to cause his arrest by the regime if was felt necessary. An alleged Nigerian kingpin who Waupo Chingono and Hwende allegedly said it paid both Hwende and Chamisa, a certain Peters, who is allegedly this runner, apparently fell out with Hwende sometimes in 2021. It had actually been Hwende's business partner. It was stated that the scope of breadth of Waupo's motivations are mainly and varied, including a possibility of launching his own solo political career. Additionally, in addition to these 5 sources, over the past 2 years, other sources have disclosed that Waupo has got an exceptionally close relationship with the First Family, who is a former intelligence operative herself. Motives behind the allegations. Some of the sources state that they believe that the strategy was to wage a disinformation campaign by whipping opposition supporters into an anti-Chamisa frenzy and delegitimizing him as an opposition stalwart. Craft a convincing narrative to account for the implosion in CCC, which shift the blame away from Hwende and others, which is the current situation, to Chamisa, to emphatically destroy Chamisa as a political force for good, through severely denting his image and integrity, and creating a compelling and corrupt link between the inaction after the elections and the reasons for that inaction, for Hwende and his cabal to personally cleanse themselves of the stigma surrounding their current alliances with the regime and the fallout with Chamisa amongst opposition supporters. It was said that such development would, in the eyes of plotters, engineer a soft landing for them to be welcomed by rank-and-file opposition supporters across the country, with it being notable that none have so far had the temerity to undertake such rallies. It was stated that the intention was to pave the way, so to speak, banking on the fact that some opposition supporters could be gullible. Key points to note: it is significant that none of the shady characters in the form of notorious Russian-style social media agitator Alinaka and Opo Chingono, who is more of a political activist than a journalist, has put forward an explicit and compelling evidence corroborating their sensational and deeply irresponsible allegations. All they have done is deploy blackmail via threatening to disclose the information, a classic tool usually employed by professional character assassins, and such a strategy is deadly when no such evidence exists. Intelligent assets are also prone to employing it, as the tantalizing threat will be more appealing to the public and thus attention-grabbing. This will allow it to gain credence and circulation via amplification up to the point that it will appear authentic and thus becoming agenda shaping. In the current situation, the combined X platforms of Opo Chingono and Victor have gotten close to 1 million followers across the world. Working the X algorithm, impressions-wise, they have reached an audience of several millions and made the saga trend while shifting the opinions of many on the Zimbabwean political landscape and beyond. As you can see, it's an effective disinformation campaign. No one will be held accountable. No evidence will be presented, and a restive population has been manipulated. The agitators have partially succeeded in discrediting Chamisa while offering no practical solutions themselves in addressing the political crisis, pursuant to creating a vacuum that they deludedly think can either exploit themselves or by default help the regime to do it. Where the strategy has been perfectly executed is in combining excellent timing in the immediate aftermath of SADC, where EU emerged triumphant and opposition supporters despondent, and the weaponization of Chamisa's Bible verses in the face of inaction. The agitators had their perfect scapegoat. Once the passion had been stirred enough, reason evaporated, multitudes were ripe enough to gullibly accept that millions of dollars could fall into Chamisa's hand, and such a windfall could secretly be transacted and known by Hwende and others for so long without any paper trail, picture, image, and regime getting wind of it and arresting him and splashing the evidence in the media. Much more importantly, if ED has successfully compromised Chamisa, why does he need the Shabangu charade to do this hiding? Finally, there is a small matter of the hollow brand of politics that Hwende and his cabal have been transacting since they parted ways with Chamisa. So timid have they been in opposing ED that to the discerning. They are much more likely to be the primary reason why demons were never on the menu while Chamisa was still at the helm of CCC. Zvabudidzwa na apa Brighton mutebuka muri Zimbabwe achidefenda Nelson Chamisa on allegations ari kupiwa ekunze akapiwa millions na Mnangagwa, so abuda achiti Hwende is the one circulate rumors yaya so that Chamisa anodestroywa zvachose tisingazomwena sei nyaya yetudziwo zvamuri kufunga pamusoro penyaya iyi mu comment section.